Well, good morning. Here it is, another Monday morning. It's really interesting because I had to put my sunglasses on because the sun is shining at the moment. But when I woke up this morning, it was storming out pretty bad. We haven't had a lot of rain in weeks now. We've been very dry here, and so we've needed the rain. But that's what woke me up, was the sound of rain and storm. And it's really kind of symbolic that it stormed this morning, because it plays right into what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk about storms in your life. Yesterday at church, preached a message called "How Can I Serve You?" That was the title of it. And for whatever reason, I guess the sound system got a demon in it or something. I don't know, but the sound for the recording didn't work, and so they're not able to post the sermon from yesterday because all there was a video and no sound. And so I want to talk just a little bit about it today. We all walk through storms in our life, and how we all handle them kind of differently than trying to keep the sun out of my eyes, and that puts a shade right on my face, doesn't it? Anyway, rabbit trail. We all walk through different storms in our life, different seasons in our life, and sometimes life is great and good and we kind of take it for granted. But then when something comes along, a major storm, a hurricane comes along, and we're always caught off guard. It's always unexpected, and we always think we're gonna die. And how in the world are we gonna get through this? This is too painful. It's too scary. It's overwhelming. And what do I do? What do I do? And the message about serving yesterday, you may think that they don't even go along, but they really go hand in hand. If you will learn to serve through the storm, I promise you're going to emerge victorious. And I know they just don't even seem like they go together. Wendy, serve. But I took my congregation to the story of Jesus washing his disciples' feet. Now, you and I have to understand that this was just a few hours prior to Jesus being crucified and hung on the cross and dying. And he knew that's where he was going. If you turn to John chapter 13, I just want to encourage you today, go there and read this story in John chapter 13. It says that Jesus knew, and that word stood out to me, knew. It was there twice, and I underlined it, at least in my translation it was. Jesus knew what he was about to face. He knew the storm that he was entering into. And even though he knew, he knelt down and he washed his disciples' feet. In other words, he served them. He ministered to them. He blessed them. He sacrificially gave of himself to bless them. And that's what serving is. As a Christian, and let me back up a minute. I believe it's verse 15 of John chapter 13. He said to his disciples after he washed their feet, he said, "Do as I do." Because they didn't understand why. Peter said, "No, I'm not going to let you wash my feet." And Jesus said, "You have to let me." And so, after he did it, he said, "You don't understand. I get that you don't understand, but do as I do." And he was painting this beautiful picture for all of us of servanthood and serving others. And the most important time to do it is when you're in the middle of a storm, when you know that you're facing difficult circumstances, when you know that you don't see a way out, and you don't know how it's going to end up. He says, do as I do and serve others. When I have walked through really difficult times in my life, and there are many, you live long enough, you're going to face some really hard, trying times. And as a minister, we still face hard times. We're human just like everyone else, and we walk through things that we don't understand and we don't know how we're going to get through. And I learned years ago, when I didn't want to serve, that was the best thing and the most important thing to do, and that it would help me through. And I made this statement yesterday that when we serve, especially in difficult times, we are, it's fertile ground that makes room for miracles. God sees our faith. He sees our willingness, our humbleness to serve someone else when we want to be served. Like I said, I can remember going through a really difficult time, and I was in ministry, and I didn't want to serve others. I wanted others to serve me because I was hurting and I didn't know what to do. And I didn't always receive, service from others or love from others in the middle of this dark time. And I started having a pity party, and woe is me, and why should I serve others? No one is reaching out to me. No one's serving me. And I did that for a little while, but then the Lord said, that is not how you are supposed to do this. You are not copying my behavior and my example. And so I started to serve others, and it's amazing, because when you start giving to someone else, you realize not only are you distracted from your own storm, your own difficult time, but it makes you realize that there are so many other people who are worse off, who are going through worse things, and that you should be grateful and thankful, because and it just makes you look at the fact that God has his hand on you and he's carrying you through, and his grace is sufficient. That was a really important scripture during one of my storms, one of my seasons, is that his grace is sufficient. That means his power in me comes along when I am weak. And so I don't know where you're at today. I don't want to linger on and on in this video. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what you're facing. But if you're in the middle of a storm, reach outside of yourself and start serving others. Start giving to others. Start, loving on others. Whatever that looks like, however that looks like. And as you do that, God comes in like a flood and overwhelms you, and he pushes back the storm. The storm may still be there, but he protects you from it, and he gives you joy in the middle of it as you love and reach out and serve someone else. Happy Monday. Have a great week. Love you. I'm praying for you, and we will talk again real soon.